Hey, a bunch of firefighters are trapped at a dead-end road out in the middle of Idaho fighting wildfires. Why does that affect me? My son's among them. Stay tuned, I'll tell you the story. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I'll give you an update on wildfires. Our wildfire situation is diminishing. They reset the fire from extreme down to high. We just had some rain last night, which is a good thing. However, there are some major rainstorms that moved through here and went up through Idaho, where my son Jeremy is actually with his fire crew fighting major wildfires in Idaho. They've been working on the Nellie fire and the Bulldog fire, and they went and got reassigned to the Goat fire, which is the fire they're recently working on. So they finished up, they got released, they went back to their camp, which their camp is Silver Creek Plunge Resort, and that's where they spike camped at. But it's basically a dead-end road. There's only one way out. Their incident command post is in Garden Valley, so they get all their provisions from Garden Valley. So what Jeremy was saying is the group of firefighters there learned that through the night while they were in bed, the storms came through with lightning and torrents of rain and caused landslides. Landslides are typical with you get wildfires because they burn the vegetation, they burn the roots, which actually is what holds the rocks and the soil in place. When those are burnt out, there's nothing to hold the soil in place, so it just goes down. And there's been several landslides on the main road that gives them access in and out. So now they have no provisions, no way of getting provisions, but they worked out an interesting plan. So Incident Command Post went to send the meal, the hot meal to them that evening. They couldn't get through. It was going to take several days to clear the roads just so they can get into the camp crew, and also for the crew to get out, because right now they can't even get out to fight the fire, which is sad. But they have other firefighters on the other side of the blocked area, which is handy. Now, what happened was the crew was going to have to eat MREs. That was their emergency rations that they had just in case, in a worst case scenario. So they're getting ready to sit down and eat their MREs when they got word that a couple of the guys decided just to take their trucks up to the landslide and meet the guys with the hot food, and then they just hike the food across the landslide into their trucks and bring the hot food back. Well, by the time the food got back to the camp, it was 3 hours later, and they were able to eat and dine on, a cold meal. But at least they got sustenance. And it's the same way for breakfast. They repeated it. I imagine same way for lunch today and this evening. But I don't know when those firefighters are going to be free to be able to get out on that road. Jeremy conveyed that going the other direction, it's all dead ends. There's nowhere to go. So they're at the Silver Creek Plunger Resort. That's where their spike camp is. And they're supposed to be help fighting the goat fire, but with the rains, helped lay the fires down and cause the fires not to spread so rapidly right now. So more rain's needed, and roads need to be cleared so those fire crews can get out. So now that was the story from the last 2 days. This is the third day. Heard back from my son, and here's a picture of the progress. They managed to get some equipment in and get at least one road or one lane of this road open so the team can get out and go fight the fires and help Idaho with their wildfire problems. I have a question for the incident command staff or chief, and why they selected that camp for the firefighters to bed down at. If there's only one way in and one way out, they need to consider in the future other potential hazards like what they just experienced the other day, and that was the landslides completely cut them off from the world. So incident commands everywhere needs to take a lesson from this and consider where you're putting these guys up at and selecting camps for them. Make sure they have a plan B for egress. Yes, just saying. I'm Jerry Hansen, your host. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We've been living among wildfires, since the day one when we moved up here 20 some odd, almost 30 years ago. And we know when to get out of Dodge, and we have two ways out. So that makes me happy. And then we have places to stay in cover to protect ourselves in case we can't get out. But those are plan A, plan B, and plan C. Stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon. That'll alert you to new videos as I upload them. Give us a thumbs up. Click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms helps us out. Remember, be safe. Always be kind. I'll see you guys in my next adventure. Bye-bye now.